this goes way beyond just our agency or even the family itself.
The man leading the search for a father accused of murder.
This has rocked the community.
Sits down one-on-one with King 5.
Having 3 kids myself, it certainly resonates with you.
Why the Chelan County Sheriff says he won't give up the hunt to bring those 3 little girls justice. More than a month later, the fugitive who got away from security at SeaTac Airport is back in custody. New details about the arrest of the man who hopped on the light rail in handcuffs. A business owner fights off a gruesome attack in Seattle.
I'm bleeding. He's trying to pull out my eye.
2 cops also hurt. How Good Samaritans jumped in to help. And communities caught in the middle of ICE operations and the very immigrants who are their backbone.
We're not going to help ICE with anything. That's the stance that we have to take.
The consequences of immigration raids in Western Washington. "16 days. That is how long Travis Decker has been on the run. The father is accused of killing his 3 daughters. This is King 5 News at 11. I'm Greg Copeland. Peyton, Evelyn, and Olivia died of suffocation, according to the medical examiner's office. Now law enforcement is working around the clock to try to bring Travis to justice. At this point, the search for him is in the rugged terrain near Cle Elum. Tonight, only on King 5, we have a raw and exclusive interview with the man leading the manhunt, Chelan County Sheriff Mike Morrison. For the first time, the sheriff is opening up about the emotional weight of this case. Here's King 5's Bridget Chavez.
Sheriff Mike Morrison says this case is unlike any he's faced before. In our exclusive interview, he reveals new evidence, a possible escape route, and why this manhunt has become personal. A community shaken, a county on edge, and a sheriff carrying the weight of it all.
Peyton, Evelyn, and Olivia, I mean, their deaths, it's hit us. It's hit us hard.
It's been nearly 3 weeks since the Decker girls were found dead at a campsite near Leavenworth.
Having 3 kids myself, it certainly resonates with you. And I'm going on 20 years here in my profession, and I don't think I've ever had a case that has actually ever pulled on my emotional heartstrings, but you feel it.
The girls' father, Travis Decker, is accused of killing them, then disappearing into Washington's backcountry.
And at this point, I couldn't see a lot of things that would motivate him to want to live. I mean, his daughters are gone. He no longer has the life that he wanted to have.
Investigators are chasing leads across steep, remote terrain, from the Enchantments to Ingalls Creek off Highway 97, and now the Teanaway Trail near Cle Elum, tracking every tip, no matter how small.
One call we just got was that we saw that chicken coop had eggs taken out of it. So of course they're wondering hey, who would have come in and taken our eggs? So we want to follow up on that too, because we understand that could be a food source for somebody.
While the U.S. Marshals now lead the manhunt, the sheriff's office is handling the homicide investigation, piecing together evidence and working with FBI behavioral experts to understand what led to this.
Trying to get a better understanding of how he thinks, what stuff might be going on in his personal life that might have motivated some of this, and overall just what his thought process might look like, what his end game might look like.
Amid this relentless search, the sheriff isn't mincing words.
I don't think anyone likes him. I don't think anyone wants him to come back into society. I certainly feel like he's done a disservice to himself and has just done an evil act. And I would want him to step forward and take accountability for it.
Until then, Morrison says they will keep searching, and their commitment to justice for the Decker girls won't end.
Their deaths cannot just go unaccounted for and just to be ignored.
He says Decker can keep running, but believes his days are numbered.
We're not going to go away. We don't time out. His charges aren't going to time out. So if he wants to live the rest of his life looking over his shoulder, we'll be there.
Sheriff Morrison confirms that the Decker girls' mom, Whitney, is safe and is being updated regularly as this case unfolds. In Wenatchee, Bridget Chavez, King 5 News.
On Friday, the community is invited to remember the lives of Peyton, Evelyn, and Olivia. A memorial is being held at Rocky Reach Dam Park, just north of Wenatchee. That starts at 7 p.m. Because of limited parking there, shuttles will pick people up at Lincoln Elementary School and then take them to the park. You are encouraged to wear purple, pink, and green in honor of the girls. And King 5 will be at the service. You can watch it streaming on King 5 Plus, which you can download that app on your TV and watch for free. A wanted fugitive has been arrested in Seattle a month and a half after escaping custody at SeaTac Airport. Watch here. This is Cedric Stevenson. Was seen on video May 4th running from officers while in handcuffs. He was being transported to Kentucky for outstanding warrants at the time. Stevenson then got onto the light rail and was not seen for weeks. Police say they served a search warrant today at an apartment in Seattle's First Hill neighborhood along Madison Street. They took Stevenson into custody. Another person was arrested for rendering criminal assistance. A Seattle business owner is recovering tonight after a man approached her from behind and tried to gouge out her eyes. Police say he also assaulted 2 officers and a jewelry artist. King 5's Maddie White live tonight in Seattle with the latest on this case. Maddie.
When Brooklyn-born Jennifer Singer organized an artist vendor market on Sunday with local vendors on the sidewalk in front of her Lower Queen Anne boutique. She never could have imagined that she'd end up that day in the hospital.
I'm bleeding. He's trying to pull out my eyes.
Chaos.
Please, we need
Outside an artist market sidewalk sale first started with behavior local vendors found concerning.
I personally noticed him very far up the road.
On a warm, sunny Father's Day, Jennifer Singer and her friends were outside on West Roy Street selling their goods.
Something about us being bad people and the system. And I say, "Oh no, sir."
She says, "This is my store," and turns around to go inside. And what he says and does next may haunt her forever. Good Samaritans pinned him down while they called 911. Police say the man bit the woman with the green ponytail.
I'm bleeding. He's trying to pull out my eyes. Please, we need
2 female police officers soon arrived, and police say the man kicked and scratched them in the face and grabbed them in the crotch area.
This man was over 6 feet tall, obviously on drugs or having a psychotic breakdown with drugs.
Seattle police tell us, quote, "The officers are doing okay. They acted professionally during a challenging arrest and were able to gain control of the suspect despite being assaulted." Meantime, Singer has a mild concussion and damage to her eyes. Still, she raises the question, can violence like this be prevented with earlier intervention?
You haven't been hurt yet. When do you call 911?
I took her question to the director of crisis services with Sound Behavioral Health.
Looks like they may be about to harm themselves or others. What should you do?
You should call 988.
A new offering in King County is when you call 988 to report somebody having a crisis, dispatchers will now deploy a mobile crisis team directly to you.
As the program people become more aware of the program, we're starting to see more of the calls increasing.
The man was arrested and is still in jail tonight. Reporting live in Seattle, I'm Maddie White. Greg, back to you.
An update now to a story we brought you as breaking news last night. Illegal fireworks most likely caused a deadly explosion on Whidbey Island. That according to North Whidbey Fire. This is all that's left of the home off Strawberry Point Road in Oak Harbor. The blast killed a man who was working with fireworks when something ignited.
The direction that the blast came from impacted the wall that we have a lot of like art and pottery on, and that's what the kind of shockwave shattered all of that.
The man's parents barely escaped the fire. 2 people are dead, 3 others hurt after witnesses say a car being chased by deputies drove off the Edmonds Ferry dock. This is the moment the car was lifted from the water. The chase started last night after a trooper tried to stop the Mini Cooper from speeding. The trooper eventually ended that chase, but shortly afterward, a Snohomish County deputy started a second chase. That deputy lost sight of the car. That's when witnesses say the driver weaved in and out of traffic and then crashed right off the ferry dock.
Thank heavens another ferry wasn't docked there, because if people were coming to get off of the ferry, more people would have been involved because they would have just ran into the people sitting in their cars.
The State Patrol is now leading that investigation.
Well, it's a busy street and people do drive fast.
The city of Seattle says it has a new plan to address traffic safety concerns outside of a preschool. It's on a busy street in West Seattle. But the proposal also has it's come with some criticism. King 5's Jim Nelson explains what's next.
Delridge Way Southwest. Some say this stretch is dangerous during drop-off and pickup at the Refugee and Immigration Family Center preschool.
Well, it's a busy street and people do drive fast.
Councilman Rob Saka wanted to remove the median curb that prevents left-hand turns into the parking lot. Critics suggested it was a pet project for Saka, whose children attended the school. But he says this is simply about safety. So here's the plan. The city will start allowing parking in bus lanes during non-peak hours. They'll also install a couple of designated drop-off zones, both of those expected to be done by the end of the summer. About a block north of here, the city will install a turnaround so cars can flip around without obstructing traffic. That's expected to be done by the end of the year. It'll cost $500 grand, a fraction of the initial $2 million proposal, and that curb will stay. The facility's executive director said these improvements will significantly enhance the safety and peace of mind of our families, especially those walking with young children. Saka says it's an equitable plan that maintains safety for everyone.
In terms of slowing folks down, I mean, I don't know what would do it apart from traffic circles or more lights, because it's it's a busy thoroughfare.
In Seattle, Jim Nelson, King 5 News.
New tonight, we've learned how Seattle's Roosevelt High School illegally recruited football players, according to the group that regulates school sports. A WIAA fact-finding report says coaches encouraged students and parents living outside of Roosevelt's boundaries to attend the school. The report found that students either used false addresses or claimed they were homeless when they were not. It also says the principal, who has been put on leave, failed to intervene and, quote, carefully investigate this. Last week, the WIAA suspended and fined Roosevelt's head football coach and fined the principal, athletic director, and the school district. Tensions over immigration enforcement are escalating across the country, including here in Washington. Some local leaders are now doubling down on sanctuary laws, while others say they're ready to defy them. That's what the Facing Race team is tackling in their special series, Harvest Under Pressure. As King 5's Sharon Yu tells us, communities are feeling the pressure.
Washington cities and counties are left with a decision: follow state or federal laws. It's an immigration issue that has some jurisdictions stuck in the middle.
Nestled in the heart of Yakima Valley, the city of Sunnyside proudly celebrates its Mexican heritage. But when ICE came to town in January, fear gripped this community where 90% of its residents are Hispanic. This video shows the reality. Agents arresting someone at a grocery store parking lot. Here, agents pull over a man they thought matched someone they were looking for.
What's your name, sir? It's okay, babe.
The city froze in fear.
Do you want to say something?
When Sunnyside city leaders called a press conference to calm residents' nerves, an unwelcome visitor arrived.
My name is Martin Alvarado. I'm a bounty hunter by trade.
There was a gentleman that showed up to the press conference in a mask.
What part of illegal don't you understand?
City manager Mike Gonzalez stepped in when the confrontation heated up.
It's time for you to be quiet and leave.
Why? Because I'm telling the truth?
Because you don't even have the cojones to wear take off the mask, bro. That's why. It is my problem.
Gonzalez explains why he reacted so strongly.
There's not a family in this community that hasn't been touched by this issue, or, hasn't had a family member that's come and is undocumented.
Sunnyside doesn't call itself a sanctuary city, but it follows state law that prevents any local agencies from helping federal immigration agents.
We're not going to help ICE with anything. That's the stance that we have to take, because the state government has taken that stance, and we're taking that directive from the governor's office.
But not all jurisdictions embrace that state law.
But in my humble opinion, the sanctuary laws in this state are unconstitutional.
Klickitat County Sheriff Bob Songer has eagerly waited for ICE to call.
And I'm a little disappointed. I figured it'd reach out to me. I made it very clear I would be on speed dial for them if they were interested.
Songer pledges allegiance to federal law over state directives.
That's an unconstitutional law, in my opinion. They are saying, as a sheriff, as a law enforcement officer, that I'm not even allowed to ask an individual if they're an illegal.
His solution for undocumented immigrants?
Self-deport, so they can come back into the country legally.
Legal immigration requires employers willing to handle paperwork and pay fees, or sponsors who can help immigrants navigate the system. Northwest Immigrant Rights Project's Malu Chavez says the process isn't simple.
They may not have the U.S. citizen or lawful permanent resident family member who can petition for them. They may not be a victim of a crime. They may not fear persecution if they were to be deported.
This is where the good food is right here, right? This is the spot, huh?
Back in Sunnyside, Gonzalez says he's relieved to see the community out celebrating Cinco de Mayo at the city's festival.
When ICE came to town, they stopped going to our businesses. Our grocery stores were empty. Our merchants were starting to get worried. So, that's the direct impact that some of this political rhetoric has on our communities.
According to this executive order, removing all undocumented immigrants from Washington would cost the state $14.5 billion in economic activity, $6.4 billion in gross revenue, and eliminate approximately 71,000 jobs.
Hey, ¿cómo estás? ¿Cómo haces? Bien. Bien.
Despite Sunnyside's unofficial sanctuary status, Gonzalez says immigration isn't a political issue for him.
The stance that our state is taking, I agree with, and the interesting thing is that I am a registered Republican and very moderate. So, believe me, I've taken shots from the right.
And the Constitution laws of the state of Washington.
Labels don't define Sheriff Bob Songer either.
In 1990, I ran for sheriff in Clark County as a Democrat.
Good. Well, Mike Gonzalez, city manager.
Both leaders show in a region where immigration debates often split along party lines, the lines between red and blue blur. And the real story of Eastern Washington is one of people, not politics.
Now the rhetoric of raids mandated by the Department of Homeland Security is worsening the labor shortage at peak harvest time because people who are normally here legally are scared to come. They're thinking they don't want to be treated like they don't have legal status and are choosing not to come to America for the season, leaving us short on labor we need so badly. For Facing Race, Sharon Yu, King 5 News.
A wildfire in Chelan County doubles in size. Still ahead, efforts to get it under control as the state battles drought conditions.
It's not going to be drought-busting rain, but we do have some showers on the way as we head late into the week. We're going to let you know how much we're expecting the cool down to go along with it and when finally summer-like conditions will be back here across western Washington. Coming up.